Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce Jimmy Kaler, everybody!
Hey, thanks for coming out tonight. It's great to see all you guys tonight. A lot of parents in the crowd, I think, right? Parents? It's cool, I get it. I'm in my 50s, so unfortunately, I'm too old to have kids. That had a weird tone. No, I have 2 kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. What I'm saying is, I'm in my 50s, so unfortunately, I'm too old to have kids. Feels better that way, right? Having kids at my age is like going down to the bank to deposit all your savings and getting robbed in the lobby. Tackled on the one. It's like I won an all-expenses-paid trip to Maui and crashed on landing. That's how... I know that I'm too old to have kids because the other night I was watching Lethal Weapon, and Danny Glover's character, Sergeant Murtaugh, is retiring from his lifelong career. And he keeps saying, I'm too old for this, blank. I'm 6 years older than him. Thanks, man. Thanks very much. I also know I'm too old to have kids because, the other night I was watching Lethal Weapon. It's from 1986, just so we're all on the same page. Yeah. I just don't feel like I'm supposed to be in my cutting the crust off of sandwiches phase of life, right? I feel like I'm supposed to be in my, hey, what's on 60 Minutes this week phase? Maybe a reverse mortgage is right for me. And why can't they make a less painful catheter? Seems like an easy fix. I mean, we're sending people to Mars. Maybe we should solve the catheter pain problem and then go into outer space. I don't know. I mean, I should be trying to decide between the thermos and the tote bag with my AARP card. But instead, I'm playing old man snack butler to 2 very demanding grammar school kids who really like snacks. What is up with kids all day? Snack, daddy, snack. You have a snack. One more snack, lunch, snack. I cut up apples, I'm peeling oranges, I'm splitting grapes so they don't choke. Here's a handful of Wheat Thins, here's 9 M&Ms, here's a rice cake with peanut butter, here's a carrot stick, here's some pirate's booty, here's a graham cracker. Finally, like, just get it yourself! Which was what they wanted the whole time, and then they rifle through the whole pack of Rice Krispie treats. They're evil! They're evil people. When I first had kids, I thought I'd end up like my father. But if the pandemic taught me anything, I became exactly like my mother. I woke up one morning and the first thought in my head was, I need to cook that chicken before it goes bad. And then I threw my back out vacuuming. What I'm saying is Mr. Mom is not a comedy. It's a straight-up horror film. Watch it again. Alien, The Ring, Mr. Mom. Terrifying movies. I did use all the free time I had during the pandemic to go back to school. Yeah, I studied a double major of kindergarten and 2nd grade. And I don't know if you know this about me, I didn't enjoy grammar school the first time. And I really hated it this time. I did at the end of the semester get a degree in pain management. There was no diploma or anything, but I got a serious lesson in managing pain. And that lesson was alcohol. Anybody else? Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. The kids would be like, Daddy, why do we have to go to bed at 6:15? Because I've been drinking since 4, and honestly, I gotta go to bed. And you can't stay up later than me because mayhem will ensue. So you're going down. Read in your bed. I don't care. Do what you gotta do. Here's an iPad. Absolutely true. The one good thing about the pandemic, though, no drinking and driving. I mean, we should just say no driving, because there was plenty of drinking. I feel like everyone was involved. It was like Bukowski meets Hemingway levels of alcohol intake, right? We were just always stumbling distance from our bed, like the living room, the guest room, the garage, the front yard. That one time 2 houses down. It was, we were hanging on. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, homeschooled. And I just got to the point, I tried to be the best I could about like trying to like put out schedules and go, here, we're learning and we're learning. But all of a sudden I started seeing the other Zooms. The other parents were like, yeah, there's the answer. This is the answer. I go, hey, man, you're cheating. I see you. I see you cheating, dude. Hey, is anyone going to stop that guy? He's cheating. That kid, that A is not an A. That's B-S-A. That's not. And so I said, well, look, my kid, she's not going to get a B in second grade that keeps her out of Princeton. Here we go. So I started cheating, but I'm not an idiot. I don't just stand in the frame. I stood out of the frame. I was like over the frame like this. And I'd be like, change number 2. No, it's not right. Fix it, fix it, fix it. Change that one. Like if you saw my kid taking a test on Zoom, she'd be like... I didn't feel great about it, but at the end of the day, I was like, I don't care. We want this A. I want this A. And then so at the end of the day, she came up to me and I said, how'd we do? And she goes, we got 40 out of 43. What? On the math test? She goes, we got 3 wrong. On the math test. Second grade math test, I got 3 wrong. I got 3 wrong on a... You're telling me... I have a college degree. I don't want to brag. 3 wrong. And she goes, yeah, we got 3 wrong. I go, what? Like a meltdown. And she goes, well, what's our grade? I go, well, you know, it's 40 out of 43. So it's it's 80 out of 86. I know that for a fact. But you would have to divide up into... I started to understand how I got a 40 out of 43. Started to make sense to me. And so I go, well, let's do the math and we'll figure it out. And I go, you have to divide. But all of a sudden I got caught up on the fact that the teacher gave the kid a test with 43 questions on it. What lunatic does that? Did she fall asleep halfway through the bottle of Chardonnay with 7 questions to write? You don't go to 50 at that point or 40 with 3 bonus questions? And I got so caught up on that, I was like, I can't do this math. That was everyday homeschool. Every day, right? For everybody? Every day. You know what I thought about when I was homeschooling my child is that, do you remember a couple years ago, before the pandemic, when you had that one friend who told you, just braggadociously, where he was like, you know what I'm doing? I'm homeschooling my kid. Back then we were like, sounds cool, dude. Sounds cool. No gun to your head or anything. Just chose to. Now we know that dude's a complete lunatic. That dude should have his kids taken away from him, foster care. I don't care if they give him to a homeless guy who lives under a bridge. Better off than living with some lunatic who's like, I got this. No, you don't. You have a degree from University of Boulder, Colorado in phys ed. We don't want your education passed on. There's wonderful schools, underpaid teachers. I don't care. You're not doing it. I had to homeschool my kids, and I begged my wife just to take the year off. I said, let's give them a gap year. She said, they're going to second grade. I said, it's the perfect time to just sit back. Ponder the complexities of life. Maybe put off the inevitability of adulthood. Right? Get a year rail pass. Study art in Florence. I don't know. Send her overseas. What is the rush? What was the rush to get our kids through school? Why didn't we just play a giant game of red light, green light, and go, red light. Here's your iPad. See you in a year. Would have been so easy. I don't understand. These kids growing up today, they're going to live to be over 100. You guys know that? If they're born today, they should live. The average age will be over 100, they say. And yet we're jamming school into like the first 18 years of their life. Why are we doing that? Right? It's like that guy who brags about graduating college in 3 years. You know that dude? He's like, I finished school in 3 years. Why? Where were you going? To work for the rest of your life? This is college. Do you not understand that this is the greatest moment of your life? Like, this is the part of your life that you're going to try to use as a memory aid to get you through those arthritic, painful years at the end. This is it, dude. And if you're not enjoying it, then you're not doing it right, right? like going to Disneyland and leaving at lunchtime. Dude, you have missed the whole idea of Disneyland. This is college, dude. If it's too easy, take a bowling elective. Get drunk. Try to touch bathing suit parts. Don't be a lunatic. It's like when that 14-year-old is too smart, right? And they jump grades. You know those guys, you see them on 60 Minutes. Like 14 years old. He's at Harvard studying law, Jamie. He's 14 years old. We didn't want to hold him back. From what? Not having sex till he's 30? From not getting super high and lining up Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon with the Wizard of Oz? That's a seminal point in childhood that needs to be attained. He's this smart at 14. He's going to be this smart at 21. You know what he could use? A few social skills to go along with that genius. Because we don't need one more Bond villain, evil genius. Like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Zuckerberg and the rest of them, where it's like, the billionaires don't even know how to cut their hair. You're like, dude, we don't need any more of them. Like getting an island, cloning themselves. We don't need that. You know what we need? Somebody else to install carpet. We need somebody to work at Applebee's. So the same way that we push that stupid kid, excuse my language, stupid kid, we tutor him and we give him extra help to push him up with the pack. Anytime one kid pops up from the pack as a genius, boop, we need to push him right back down. That's how society should work, right? He's too smart, Jamie. We can't hold him back. Get that kid high. You'll see some B's start popping in there. We got him high. Still straight A's. Have one of the teachers sleep with him. That'll stop him right in his tracks. He'll be like 35 years old. His buddy be talking to him. What happened? Were you a prodigy? I was. I got high and banged Mrs. Anderson and... Now I deliver for Amazon. Wait, what happened to that? I fell apart on that one. College is so fun that Lori Loughlin paid $500,000 just to get her kid into SC, right? Not even Ivy, not even Stanford, probably not even UC Davis. It's SC, I got it, it's fine. $500,000. What was her punishment? 2 months in prison, camp, right? Where she got to read books all day and work out and get a good night's sleep. I homeschooled my kids for 14 months. That's not a punishment. That's a reward. I would have killed anyone in this room for those 2 months. John Mulaney was the smartest dad of all. I'm drinking red wine. He's like, dude, you need an 8-ball and head back to rehab for 3 months. I was like, genius. He went full-blown coke addict. Crazy, man. I would have loved to see him in like the, the little trust circles in the rehab where they're like, John, how are you feeling today? Oh, man, I feel great. You should have seen me a couple weeks ago at home with those kids. I was in hell. But now here with you people, I feel great, man. I feel great. How about a cup of coffee? Sounds super, man. I like that. Fantastic. You know what they should have done to Lori Loughlin, right? You know what her punishment should have been? She should have had to homeschool that kid. All 4 years of college, right? That kind of writes itself, right? Wouldn't it have been great where you have to see Olivia Jade come to her mother with her course schedule for each semester, and Lori Loughlin's like, oh, God, what do I have to teach this semester? Advanced calculus, Mandarin Chinese, ethics. And by the way, that kid rows crew. I don't care if it's in a rowboat behind the house in the pool. 6 a.m. every morning, I want to see that kid out there rowing with Lori Loughlin as coxswain yelling, stroke, stroke, stroke. Whew. The pandemic was hard, but luckily for me, I got to quarantine with my best friend, my Sony 4K 70-inch television. Oh, my wife was there too, which was cool. She's cool. But nobody gets me like the television. The television totally. Listen, I'm not alone. I was with the kids all day, and after a 14-hour shift, it's like, my wife would barely look up from her phone to go, are you going to watch TV again? Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to watch some television. I don't know what to tell you about that. You need to deal with it because it's going to happen. About 2 seconds, I'm going to watch some TV. But as parents, we watch movies differently from people without kids, right? Because my friend without kids will go, "Hey, did you see that movie?" And I go, "I did," in 20-minute increments over 3 weeks. It wasn't as cohesive as I would have enjoyed that movie to be. And he's like, "You didn't have 2 hours to watch a movie in a row?" No. No, I did not have that at all. Even if we did have 2 hours to watch a movie, we would spend 90 minutes of that fighting about what we're about to watch. Which is insane to me, because I don't know if you know this, I don't want to brag, there's other televisions in the house. Why are we doing this? Listen, why are we sleeping in the same bed? Does anyone... That's a valid question. Let me ask you, is it possible for me to love my wife and also want to get a good night's sleep? Are those two things intertwined in some way, or can they be separated? I still don't understand the logic of why we're in the same bed. I don't know about you guys, but for me, sleep is a solo endeavor. I've never once been like, "Hey, I'm thinking about taking a nap. Would you like to join me?" Hold on, are you talking about sex? No, I'm super exhausted. I'm talking about napping. What I'd like is if you could just lay next to me and then toss and turn a little bit, breathe deep, just move every now and then, just so it's impossible for me to reach REM. Is that something that could be arranged? And here's what's even more insane. The last time we slept with humans, we were like 18 months old, a year. And then we have roommates. And then we go to college, we have roommates, and then we're broke, and we have roommates, and we go, we got to change this. And we get it motivated to earn enough money to get our own apartment. And that's the greatest time in our lives. I think we all can agree, right? Because every time you left that apartment and came back, everything's exactly where you left it. It's the greatest thing ever. And then all of a sudden you meet somebody, and you fall in love, and you go, "Hey, let's get married." And you know what I was thinking? Let's move in together. But here's the twist. Let's share a room. Wait a minute. I just thought about this. What if we're so in love, and we're obviously going to have so much sex for the rest of our lives? What if we sleep in the same bed? It's crazy to me. It's crazy. Our kids have separate rooms. Our kids haven't done anything to earn separate rooms. Nothing. They have separate rooms, and we're sharing a one bed in one room. They should be in Three Stooges beds, bunk beds, along a wall, and the parents should be honestly trying to make enough money to buy 2 separate homes connected by a tunnel. I feel like that would make... Like, I know where it came from. It's olden times when people lived in mud huts and stone little huts, and they were basically trying to conserve body heat so they would survive the night, right? And honestly, I'll bet even then they fought over the evening's entertainment, right? Which was only the Bible. There was only the Bible. But every night they had a huge fight about what they were going to read in the Bible, where he's like, "I think we should do the murder mystery of Cain versus Abel." And she's like, "Oh, I thought we'd do the Real Housewife of the Garden of Eden. Tonight's the night she gets the apple." Wait, I don't... Here's what's crazy. I would sleep, some nights we would have I'd be so tired, I'm just going to sleep in the other room. And then I would tell my friend, I'd be like, "Hey, I was so exhausted, I slept in the other room." He's like, "Ooh, is it trouble in paradise, huh?" No, I just really wanted a good sleep. And actually, here's what's weird. My wife and I both had good night's sleeps, and you know what was really crazy? We were super nice to each other because we weren't exhausted. I'm going to make that a thing in real life. We're all going to have separate rooms. Honestly, we should all just join in, put all of our kids into one house. And then we live in the neighborhood around it. And we fence the house in. With like a metal, like an electric fence where and we have one of those cattle prods. Back up! Back in the house! You. My wife is right about one thing. Literally one thing. And that is violence in movies. before I had kids, I could watch it, but now I don't know about you guys. I can't watch any movie where a child is hurt. Everybody's insane. No parent. Everyone. I don't know who's watching these things. Every other show on Netflix is this dark, mysterious show set in a Norwegian forest with giant trees and big long roots where people are in there in like raincoats, and all of a sudden the first 30 seconds is like disemboweled child. I'm like, dude! I'm like, who told me to watch this? Netflix was like 98% approval. For who? People without kids. I can't watch it. Like even some of my favorite movies of all time, like Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. It used to be to me this story of like 3 adventurous men who went out to hunt this great white shark. And then I had kids, and now it's just a story of a single mom who watches her son get eaten alive on the beach. I don't know about you, I can't get past that. That movie's over right there. When Mrs. Kittner watches Alex get chewed up, I'm like, done. How horrible. And you know she's a single mom. I mean, the pain, because she slaps Brody. Where's the husband? He's nowhere to be seen. So obviously she's a single mom who just had her son eaten by a shark. Honestly, it's a lawsuit movie because they knew that shark was in the water. There's got to be some kind of correspondence saying that Murray Hamilton knew the shark's in there. It's a lawsuit movie. It should have been called Erin Brockovich 2, The Alex Kittner Tragedy. By Jaws 2, she owns the island. It's not even Amity anymore, it's Kittnerville. Jaws 3, she hires a hitman to go and kill every guy on the island. Jaws 4 is a ghost story where Alex comes back. That one doesn't do that well. Jaws 5, she joins the Fast and the Furious crew, and they merge. It's a I don't know about you guys, but for me, honestly, like when I was with the kids all day, by the end of the day, TV was my drug. Anybody else? Like, yeah, absolutely. For me, TV is visual heroin, right? At the end of the day, when you're like numb and you just put it on, it feels like somebody took a warm ladle of butter and just poured it over your face. Oh, that feels so good. It feels so good. Which is funny, I don't know why we fight with our wives, because typically we don't even care what we watch, for the most part. Sometimes we'll just turn the TV on, and the first thing on, you're like, yeah. That's fun. The other night I watched 2 guys build a treehouse in Maine. Fantastic. I watched the Northern Regional Ohio Cornhole Championship. 2 hours, great match, really enjoyed it, super fun. Honestly, they could just have a channel where it's a dude just swinging a watch back and forth, talking in a really super mellow voice. Hey, man, I know it was a bad day. And I know you didn't want to yell, but you said the same thing 57 times. At some point, the kids have to take some responsibility, man, baby. I mean, come on, you're a good guy. You know, you're not a drug addict, you're not a gambler. Yes, your wife should be nicer to you, but she's going through her own journey, man. I know she's sleeping 12 inches away from you, and you're going to wake up at 2 a.m. and just stare at the ceiling. And I know you want to watch Sports Center at 3 a.m. just to shut your brain off to go back to sleep. But no, just lay there for 2 hours and just try to pull it together. Try not to move too much, right? It's all going to be fine, buddy. It's all going to be fine. And listen, I know you didn't want to punch that lamp. But it's your lamp, and it's not a crime. So listen, buddy, let's just try to calm it down mentally, bring it together, let's get a good night's sleep, and then tomorrow we'll deal with that bankruptcy. One night during the pandemic, I was watching a vampire film, and I didn't get scared at all, but I thought the coffin looked really comfortable. Anybody else? It's lined with satin. There's a little pillow in it. Lid closes. Very quiet inside, from what I'm told. If Costco could make one with a television by your feet and a little slide refrigerator, I would buy one. I just put it in the garage. The kids would be like, "Where's Dad? He's in the coffin. Watching TV. Having a beer. He earned it." A little lock, maybe a locking mechanism on it. "Daddy, what are you doing?" And then if you do die, easy disposable. No mess. No mess. Just back the truck up to the garage. Beep, 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 beep. Push that out. During the pandemic, one of my buddies had a stroke. I know, he's okay. He survived. But to save his life, they put him into a 2-week induced coma. And we were all talking about it. We were super scared for him, and everyone was really nervous. And they were talking about, what's going to happen. But I kind of blanked out right in the middle of our conversation. And then for 1 second, I thought to myself, man, that 2-week induced coma sounds fantastic. I started asking questions like, hey, do you have to have a stroke to get the coma? Or can you just order that a la carte? How does that work? Does insurance cover that? Yeah, I did learn during the pandemic how just miserable and complaining every person on earth is. Did you feel that way? Like we all were trying to be positive, like to each other, but then when we're alone, everyone's just so miserable. Everyone's like complaining. Everyone complains about everything, don't they nowadays? Maybe it's the social media where we see everyone else's social media posts, but we complain about our own lives. Like the year before the pandemic, you would talk to your buddies during the holidays. And you're like, hey, what are you doing? Ugh, I gotta travel back east. We're flying during like the busiest time of the year, crazy expensive. I gotta spend time with my in-laws. Don't like them. It's gonna be, we'll probably get snowed in and trapped there for a month. Terrible, man. And then the pandemic came, and what did they say? You can't travel. No one can travel. And what did everyone do? What do you mean we can't travel? I gotta go back east to see my family. I miss them so much. Hey, pick a side, dude. I don't know why people travel in the first place. There's a travel channel. I went to Greece last week, 30 minutes in and out, flew over the Acropolis, sipped some ouzo, very comfortable couch in Greece. Might go to Ireland this weekend, see how I feel. Just see how I feel about that. Dude, social media we're going extinct. I think everyone knows that, right? Like we are, as a species, going extinct, right? Social media is the downfall of it all. Don't you guys? I'm not crazy. We see everybody else's life and judge our own by that. We went to as soon as the pandemic was kind of towards the end, you could kind of go out. We went to the beach for the first time in like 10 months. And we get to the beach. It's chilly. I'm not going to lie to you. It's chilly. I'm cold. My wife's cold. We get there. The kids, of course, strip to their underpants and run into the ocean. My wife makes us all take the photos, right? Let's get photos, everyone. Come around. Let's get the photos. Let's get the photos, everyone. The kids are like, I'm dragging them out of the water. Take your picture for your mother. Ah! They're like trying to get to the ocean as hard as they, ocean. I go. So we take some great photos. She's like, no, that's not good. Stand here. Take these photos. And then she sat on a rock, posted them to Instagram, and then was like, all right, we're out of here. What are you talking about? The kids are losing their minds. It's their first time at the beach in like a year. She's like, I'm cold. I go, I'm cold too, but they're in their underpants. Who cares? So we fight. It's a huge fight. I'm trying to find old blankets in the car to keep her warm. Anything. And we finally leave after like an hour. We head home. We have a huge fight about it. I get home. I get a phone call from a buddy of mine who lives in Oregon. And he goes, thanks a lot, pal. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, my wife saw your wife's post from the beach and is like, why don't we go to the beach ever? Which is true! Stop doing that! You all have amazing lives! Live in the moment! We don't. All right, that was an improv in the middle of everything. That's going to be a good bit, though. That's not bad. I mean, I'm definitely not getting any sex tonight, that's for sure. She's on her phone again! Kate! Put your phone down! Do I have to take it from you? The best thing that happened during the pandemic? COVID birthday parties. Do you remember? Everyone knows what a COVID birthday party is, right? It's like, yeah. where we used to go to birthday parties for like 8 hours on a weekend, right? We're like, how was your weekend? I went to kids' birthday parties. Anything else? No, literally nothing else. I was at kids' birthday parties all weekend. It was super painful. And now they go, how was your weekend? And I go, I went to 6 birthday parties. And they go, oh, that must have sucked. I go, no, it took like 17 minutes. I just drove around the neighborhood, threw some presents out the window. We even got a t-shirt gun just to shoot the presents out, like poof, poof, right? Because they're the best. The kid decorates the house. Everyone just pulls their car up at like exactly 1 o'clock. And then we just sit there. And then we get up. And then we get up. And then we get up. And then we finally get up and we're like, hey. 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 And the 2 wives are like, hey. And the 2 dads are like, hey. And the wives are like, hey, happy birthday, happy birthday. And the dad's like, how's it going? It's horrible. No, it's all horrible. I'm hanging on by a thread, dude. I'm thinking about faking my own death and moving to Bali. I'm not sure I'm going to get through this thing. And he's like, I'm with you. If you do that, I'm with you. I'll go with you. Let's just fake it together. We're out of here. And we do that for like 30 seconds, and then I go, line's backing up. And then I just drive away. That's every birthday party I went to. But I will tell you, birthday parties in general have got to be changed now that we're coming back. We need to use the pandemic to reset the bar on birthday parties because too much money is being spent on these children. It's insane. You have got to stop. All of us, all of you women. Yes. Stop what you're doing. They're so young, they're not even going to remember the birthday party. No, where it's like a crazy, magical, mystical playground with a chocolate river with gondola rides and a unicorn and a mermaid and a minotaur and a sea nymph and a menage of Disney princesses and maybe JoJo Siwa impersonator. Or honestly, it could have been JoJo Siwa. I wouldn't know the difference. But they're spending thousands of dollars on the kids who won't remember the party and nothing on us who are going to remember every second of it. Yeah, thanks for the Costco pizza and the Kirkland water. And the vegetable plate that is broccoli supposed to bend like this? Why is there a white film on the broccoli? This is a train wreck. So that's it. We're done. We're changing it from here on out. It's over. From now on, no spending money on the kids. Just give them like a bunch of boxes, some bubble wrap, maybe some of your duller kitchen utensils. They'll love it. Throw in some toilet paper rolls, some glitter glue, and a wig from Goodwill. Greatest day of their lives. And then spend the money on the parents. Gourmet lunch, open bar, pony rides. How about limo rides to and from your party? So we can do some real damage at that wine tasting you're gonna throw. Honestly, the kids shouldn't even be there, man. They should be at a separate house. Just throw a bunch of pillows in there and a flashlight and call it a fort party. Then get us a masseuse. Have a casino night. Have someone to wash my car, something I need. Be a marriage counselor. She wanted to sit on the stage. This is what happens when you're in the spotlight. Are you okay, baby? Do you want some drinks? Are you okay for drinks? You better have it. You better have it. Oh, I'm going to be in big trouble later. I didn't tell that social media post went in the first show. It just came to me when I saw her on the phone just now. It just clicked in my head. You know I love you, babe. You know I love you. I told her, I said, I don't think you should sit on the stage, but she's like, here we go. I go, well, part of the show. I can't tell you what's going to happen. We had a problem recently where my 5-year-old was coming to sleep in our bed. We've all had it, right? It's the most painful thing ever. You know, and they pick that one night, don't they? They pick the one night where you're like, yeah, we'll have an extra glass of wine. You know what? I will stay up 1 extra hour to watch Narcos Mexico. Tonight's the night. I'm going to stay up. I'll tear it up a little bit. Just a little bit. It's like they wake up and go, tonight's the night. And all of a sudden, you go to bed, and it's like 2 hours later, like you just are barely coming down, and you wake up because somebody's laying on your face. And he's like, get off my face! And it's Claire, my little 5-year-old, cute as a button, but she's like, ah! She sleeps like this. She sleeps. How does a kid sleep like that? She sleeps like that the whole time, and so, it's days, and all of a sudden you're like, and your heart, and then you have to have that Sophie's choice where you have to make the decision. You sit there and you ponder it for the longest time. You're like, man, do I just lay here and take this and just have her wake me up every 15 minutes, or do I exert every ounce of energy, get the adrenaline surge by picking up this 50-pound bag of wet cement, dragging her through a toy minefield down a hall? You smash her head on the bathroom door, bonk, and you're like, oh, and your wife's like, what was that? And you're like, nothing, but I wouldn't worry about college for this one. Probably trade school for Claire. And you finally get her back to her bed, and you put her in her bed. And then by the time you get back to your bed, you're like wide awake. And then you lay down next to your wife, and you stare at the ceiling for like 2 hours. You're like, man, I wish I could watch SportsCenter right now. But I can't move. I cannot move. And I'm going to be a mess tomorrow. I'm going to be an absolute mess. So she did it like 3 or 4 nights in a row, and I was just a mess. And I was like, Claire, you've got to stop doing this. Claire, why are you doing this? What is happening? You have to sleep in your own bed. She goes, Daddy, there's spiders in my bed. I go, Claire, there's no spiders in your bed. I show her, I take her over, I take everything off. I go, there's no spiders here. She goes, they're not here now. They show up at like 2 a.m. Weird. That's a weird trait for spiders. That's the late night spider. So I show her the whole bed and put her to bed. I say, there's no spiders. And again, she comes into her bed, wakes us up. I'm losing my mind. I'm like really close to just losing it. And the next day, I go to put her to bed. And I said, Claire, oh my gosh, you were right. There were spiders in your bed. But I found them. Today, I took your whole bed apart, and I found all the spiders. They were there. Honestly, there was so many. There was like millions of spiders. I was shocked. They had such good hiding places in the bed. But I found them all. She goes, you did? I said, I got rid of them. I got rid of them all. And she goes, Daddy, that's great. I said, yep, I got them all out of your bed. But I did take them, and I spread them all over the floor around your bed. I even spread some down the hall towards our room. So what I'm saying is, if you stay in your bed, you're probably pretty safe. But if you get out of that bed, I don't think I can protect you. And she slept in her bed that night. So, a little parenting tip for all of you. The hardest thing about having kids is trying to explain to your friends with no kids where your day went, right? Like, that's always the case. When you talk to your friends and they go, what happened to you? And I go, ugh, kids. Parents go, well, of course, kids. It's just kids. It's always a story. But they don't understand it because the story is irrelevant. It's just a time-consuming story. That's it. Where'd your day go? This story happened. So tonight's story I'm going to tell you is called Claire and the Case of the Missing Headphones. But the story could have easily been called, Where's That Smell Coming From? Or Why Would You Block the Drain and Let the Water Run Forever, causing $6,500 worth of damage? The story's irrelevant. Just know that whatever story it is, 3 hours of your day went away. I was, of course, homeschooling my kids one day, and, it's like, you talk to your, you see your friend's post, and he's like, hey, here's 20 books I want to read this summer. And as a parent, you're like, well, here's the 3 books I'm going to be reading 1,500 times this summer. Like, Uni the Unicorn, and Dragons Love Tacos, and The Day the Crayons Quit. That's my reading list for the summer. So I'm already in a bad place. And the kids are on their iPads, and they have their headphones on, and the world is barely tolerable. Barely. And all of a sudden, I'm in the kitchen, cleaning, like something like the 3rd load of dishes for the day. I don't know what's happening, but it's already a train wreck that's in motion. And all of a sudden, I can hear from the other room Claire's entire class on her iPad, right? Out of nowhere, I hear 30 kindergarten kids aloud, all at once. It's like they're having auditions for Oliver, and every kid is auditioning simultaneously, only using gibberish. It's a sound that you would use to torture people at, like, Gitmo, where you would play it for like 30 seconds, and the guy's like, dude, here's the plans, here's everything I know. Please don't play that ever again. And so I peek around the corner, I'm like, Claire, baby, put your headphones on. And she's like, I don't know where they are. And I go, What do you mean you don't know? You were literally wearing them 30 seconds ago and the world was barely tolerable. Now it's excruciatingly painful and you need to put your headphones back on. And she goes, I don't know where they are. And I go, what are you talking about? And I walked over to her desk and the headphones are gone. There's no headphones anywhere. And I'm like, where are your headphones? And she goes, I don't know. They were on your head. They were on your head and then they weren't. Where are they? And she's like, I don't know. And I said, well, let's look for them. We got to look for these. I'm not going to get through the day. Claire, we need your headphones on. So we start looking, and she goes, well, yeah, let's look. And she goes, I'll look under the couch, and she looks around her toy bin and stuff, and I start looking around. We can't find the headphones. And so all of a sudden, the search begins. She had them on. They're not there. Can't find them. So I have to look everywhere. And with kids, there's no logic. I'm looking like in the dryer, on the roof. Because when you're dealing with children, there's no logic. These are beings that are terrified of imaginary monsters that live under their bed, but they'll just run right out into traffic. There's no rhyme or reason. If two food groups on their plate touch, absolute meltdown. But if a dude in a white van offers them candy, they're gone. That's the end of those kids. Our job is literally trying to keep them alive. So there's no logic. I'm looking everywhere, and she's with me, and she's like, well, yeah, and she's looking with me, and we're looking everywhere. And I'm losing my mind. It's like an hour, and I'm everywhere. And I'm like, Claire, where are your headphones? And so I go, let's go back to the beginning. We'll start at your desk, and we'll go back. She goes, okay. And we go back to the desk, and I said, all right, they were here. Let's look around here. And so I go, well, I'll look under the couch. And she goes, they're not under the couch. What? They're not under the couch. So immediately, I know they're under the couch. They're under the couch, but I'm so confused. I'm like, what? You told me to look under the couch. What? You're saying they're not under the couch? And she goes, they're not under the couch. And I go, well, I'll look anyway. And so I go to look, and she hurls her little 45-pound body in front of me and puts her arms up and goes, they're not under the couch! They're not under the couch! They're not under the couch! And I go, I'm looking under the couch. And she tries to stop me, but she's 45 pounds. I outweigh her like by 5 times. And so she's out of her weight class. There's no two ways about it. So I just pick her up and I put her over there. And I go to look under there. And out of nowhere, she goes, I thought you were going to be mad at me. I thought you were going to be mad. She's sobbing. I thought you were going to be mad at me. I don't even know what's happened, but I'm like, you're probably right. Yeah, I feel like I'm about to be super mad about what's happening. So I go to look under the couch, and I forgot to tell you something at the top of the story. At the beginning of the day, Claire got a new pair of scissors. I think you see it coming now. And so I go to look under the couch, and I go under the couch, and sure enough, she cut the cord to her headphone with her new scissors. I was like, I lost my mind. I was like, what? I was like, but she is sobbing so hard. She's like, I thought you were gonna be mad. If she's a grown man, I'd punch her right in the face. She knows it. We all know it. That person has it coming. You do that. I'm not even mad really about the headphones. Do you know what I'm mad about? The 90 minutes I just looked for those headphones. She was so committed. She's like, oh, let's look in the bathroom. Whole time, she knew where they were. That's a sociopath. She needs to be, like, years from now, they would be like, she would turn into a serial killer, and they go, did you see the sign? Yeah, she cut stuff. I was like, I should have known it. I saw her desk, and she had the new scissors. Everything was cut. Every book had cuts, the crayon box, everything had been, she was just sitting there cutting literally everything on her desk. And saw the cord and was like, boink, and was like, oh, no. And then not that smart. She should have got them out of the house, right? You do something that crazy, you gotta bury them in the backyard. You can't hide a body under the couch. It's gonna get found. There's no two ways about it. So she puts him under the couch, I pull him out, and she's like sobbing so badly, like melting, that I can't get mad at her. I'm like, it's okay. It's not okay. It's definitely not okay. And I'm holding her, and she's shaking in my hand. She's like, I thought you would be mad at me, Daddy. I thought you would be so mad at me. I'm like, and I'm lying through my teeth. Absolutely lying. I'm not mad at you at all. But in the back of my head, I'm like, you just wasted 90 minutes of my time. And also, it's the middle of a pandemic, and I got to get into a car with you and your sister and drive you to Target to buy you a new set of headphones today. And that's how that's going to go. I'm not mad. I'm totally not mad. So the day ends. I pile her and her sister in the car, and we drive to Target to get new headphones. And I'm trying to be cool about it. I'm not being too angry about it. And I get them in the car. I go get the new headphones, and we're heading back towards. And here's where kids show that they have no logic whatsoever, because we passed the toy section. And she goes, "Hey, can we get a toy?" Now I'm mad. Now I'm super mad at you, Claire. And then I bought her a toy. She's really cute, man. She's really a cute kid. Really a cute kid. I would say a lot of people, when it comes to divorce, a lot of people say that it is either... was that a weird jump? Does that feel weird to everybody? Oh, that felt normal. When it comes to divorce, most people say it's money or children that cause it, right? I think the number one cause of divorce is WebMD. I think if any husband ever catches the dude who created WebMD, he's getting punched in the face. There's no two ways. WebMD is that jerk who works with your wife and has a mad crush on her and just agrees with everything she says. And he badmouths you. He badmouths the husband all the time. You go, "Oh, don't listen to him. He's an idiot. Listen, you told me your symptoms. I'm telling you, only 6 people on earth have had this disease, but I wouldn't be surprised if you were number 7. Should you worry about it? Absolutely. This should keep you awake. I wouldn't get any sleep if I thought I had this disease." So over the pandemic, my wife thought she had a brain tumor for a bit. She thought she had a spine tumor. She thought she had skin cancer. Everything. Every wife does that, right? You just... Because she's reading the symptoms in there, and she's like, "I'm always exhausted. I have ringing in my ears. I have confusion. My stomach hurts." Yeah, that's called parenthood. Get used to it. We all have that. Guys are the opposite. We'll piss blood and be like, "I'm sure that'll clear up." So one night, she's like complaining, "I'm in pain. I think my tumor's acting up or something." I go, "What tumor?" She goes, WebMD says I have a spine tumor today. It's right at the base of my spine. It's pretty obvious. And I'll be dead probably in a month or 2. And here's what I want you to do with the kids for the rest of your life. And have a good life. And she's like planning my future and stuff. And so I call her bluff. I go, "You know what? I love you, baby, and I worry about you. We're going to the hospital." She goes, "No, I don't think I have to go." We're going to the hospital. We're going to the hospital. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. And so we go to the hospital, and she goes in, and by the time we get to the hospital, she is not. She's like, "I don't feel that bad. Maybe we should just turn around and go." We're going in. We're going into the hospital. We're getting this problem resolved here and now. And so we go in, and she does all the... And I know in the back of her head, she's like, "Please let me have a tumor. Please, for the love of God, let me have a tumor and be dead in 2 months just to say I told you so to that jackass." Like, she'd be dying, and I'd be like, "Oh, baby." And she goes, "I told you so." So we do a whole battery of tests, and guess what? There's no tumor. There's no skin cancer. Yes, she had her appendix out about 2 hours later. What I'm saying is, yeah, the boy keeps crying wolf, but eventually, there's a wolf. There are wolves. There are wolves. And this wolf was an appendicitis, and so she had her appendix out. And it was scary, you know. She had her appendix out, and, you know, she had surgery like within 2 hours of going to the hospital, even though she kept saying, "I feel better. We should go home." And then she had her appendix out. And so we get home, and she's on heavy drugs for like the first 2 days, which are 2 of the greatest days of my life. She finally got a good night's sleep. She was super happy. I was like, you should smoke pot. This is good for you. You really, she's like, I feel great. I made the kids macaroni and cheese every meal, and she's like, that sounds fantastic. Didn't judge. There was no judging. Didn't judge me once. I was like, this is a good marriage. You should be a drug addict. This is super. I started thinking about other guys who was like, oh, my wife's a drug addict. I go, you lucky son of a gun. God, I wish I could get my wife on drugs. This is fantastic. But a couple days later, my job was basically keep the kids quiet, right? That's it. Which is, by the way, the worst job that's ever existed. I mean, like 2 hours into it, when I go, kids, bring it in, take a knee, come in. Mama's recuperating. We got to keep it down. Let go of me! You shut up! I just said keep it down. What are you screaming at each other, scratching? I'm like, guys, you're killing me. So we have to have this big conversation, and my wife's like yelling down, keep them quiet. I go, I'm trying. I wish I had the appendicitis at this point. Like, that would have been way easier than keeping these two kids. So I try to keep the two kids quiet, and they're asking questions. Is Mama going to be okay? She's going to be fine. She had her appendix out. What's the appendix? You know, it's just an organ that you don't... Well, organ? You'll die if you don't have it. No, it's not that kind of organ. It's just, it's an old organ. What does it do? You know, it's down there. It does, it's near the intestines. We don't use it anymore. It's just there for show. It's by your colon, I think. It used to like filter like dinosaur stuff back. It's being slowly evolved out of us. She doesn't need it. It's like your wisdom teeth or a vestigial tail. They're being slowly bred out. And she's like, vestigial. And I was like, yeah, vestigial. She's like, and the other little girl was like, vaginal? It's not vaginal. She didn't have her vagina removed. It's an appendix. It's gone. And so they're losing their mind. And my wife's like, get them out of the house. So I take them outside. And the little girl across the street is talking to my daughter. And she's like, hey, what happened to your mom? And she goes, she's okay. She just had her independence removed. And I said, your mother did not. No, your mother had her appendix removed. Your father had his independence removed. You know what was really cool over the last year was a lot of people adopted dogs. Did you guys adopt dogs? I thought it was fantastic. Everybody showed that they needed a little animal love in their life. And we have a dog, and every time you watch like The Dog Whisperer with Cesar Millan, they would always go to someone, they're like, oh, the dog has a problem, he acts super nervous. And then they would interview the person, and the person's like, I don't know what's wrong with my dog. My dog doesn't do anything. He acts crazy. He just acts crazy. And we look at the person and go, yeah, we know why, because you're a lunatic. And Caesar's like, well, here's how we train. So I tried to train our dog, right? And so I tried to train him like Cesar Millan did. It's a pack. It's a pack animal. And so I had to show the dog that I was alpha, right? You have to do that. So the dog came in the house, and I don't like dogs in my room, in my bed. I'm not one of those. I'm always shocked when people are like, hey, come on up and sleep on my pillow. Dogs don't wear underpants. I don't know if you guys know that. And they lift their tail as they lay down. They lift their tail like they're branding the pillow. Like with a branding. I'm like, you're gonna sleep in that bed? What are you? I'm not sleeping. I'm going near that bed. So I can't have it. I don't like the dog hair. So I wanted the dog out of my bedroom. But I love the dog, and I wanted the dog to be in the rest of the house. We have a pug beagle mix. He's a sweetheart. He's cool. And so I brought him in, and when we first brought him into the house, I tried to train him, and this is how I did it. When he was in the part of the house where he was supposed to be, I was like, who's your buddy? Here's a snack. Fetch. Let's play. Give me some love. You're the best. And he's like, woo, I'm going to love this house. And then when he went to the bedroom where he was not supposed to be, I tried to teach him he was not supposed to be there by being the alpha, which meant when he went into my room, I flipped him over, held him to the ground, and just yelled at him, you don't belong in here! This is not your room! Get out of here! And then I would let him go, and he would run to the other room, and when he got to the other room, I would go, who's a good boy? boy, here's a snack. Have a treat. Let's play catch. And he was like, dude, what just happened? I'm so confused by what's happening. So I kept doing it. He'd go in that side of the house, and he'd be like, this side's cool. And then he'd go in the bedroom, and I'd flip him over. You don't belong in here! Get out of this room! And his eyes were like this. He's like, what is happening? And then he'd get up and run to the other room. Here's a treat. You're a good kid. I like you. Have that. And so it went on for a couple days, and he was really good. He didn't go in the bedroom. And I was like, look at me. I was like on the phone to Caesar. Hey, man, I think I'm taking over for you, brother. I got the show. I'm the new dog whisperer. I got this thing locked in. I'm talking to my friends, and I'm telling them the whole story, and I go, dude, give me 2 days at your house. I'll fix that dog. I'm like, kids, anything. I'll train them all. I got it. I got this training thing down. And so, like, a couple days after that, he goes into my room. He doesn't think I'm in the house. He doesn't see me, and I see him, and he's like going into the bedroom. So he goes to the bedroom, and I see him, so I sneak up on him, and I flip him over, and I hold him to the ground, and I yell, you don't belong in here! But his little penis is at a 45-degree angle. And apparently I scared him a little too much because he peed. And if you can see where he was and the angle, just when I yelled, you don't belong! Direct stream urinated into my mouth. Not a drop or two, full stream. In my mouth. In my mouth. In it. Full stream. Dog urine. In my mouth. Didn't even hit my face. It was crazy. It was like that carnival game where you got to hit the clown's mouth and the balloon blows up. Like, he would have crushed it. He would have won that game. He'd be like, pop the balloon. Where's my prize? Right in my mouth. And I was trying to be close. Like, get out. And he ran to the other room, and then we just sat and we stared at each other. And I'm like, urine all in my mouth. And he was like, and we sat and we stared at each other for a few minutes. And what am I going to do? It's not his fault. It backfired. Caesar Milan's to blame, really. It's his fault. You should want to pee in Caesar Milan's mouth. So I don't know. I said he leaves, and I wash my mouth out, and I'm kind of freaked out about the whole situation. And he really didn't go back into our room very often, but every time I was with him, he knew. He knew what had happened. There was always this unspoken look between the two of us, where he was like, I peed in your mouth. We would be with other dogs, and I would see them kind of sniff each other and then talk, and then both dogs would look back at me. And you know, the two of them, he's like, I peed in that dude's mouth. And the other dog's like, cool, man, that's awesome. That's really all I have for tonight. I have one last thing. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I don't want to cry up here, but you guys are awesome. Like, it's our first time out in so long, and I was reminded what great friends I have and how you guys are so awesome. And so I'm really blown away. I will tell you this. My wife and I had a huge fight one time, years ago. And... years ago this morning. No. This was a long time ago. And it makes me laugh still to this day because we had a fight about something or other. And she goes, no, it's my fault. I married an artist. And all I thought was, wow, she thinks I'm an artist. I love you, baby. We made it. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Super fun. Look at that insanity. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Now let's drink. I love you all very much.